What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night and it is 8 p.m. That means it's time for Proper Royals Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Bear with me. My voice is completely shot, but I've worked through worse situations, even as recently as this weekend. I got a trusty cup of horrible tea here, but it'll get me through, I promise. Tonight, we got ChakraScales from just outside of St. Cloud, Minnesota, and they'll be joining us. These are fairly new breeders as far as ball python breeding goes, but they are chicken breeders, and I think full on like chicken farmers. We're going to find out. I'll tell you more about them here in just a moment, but I'm excited to have them. If you haven't seen their social media presence, and the work that they're putting in, tonight's theme is like show up and do the work. The work that they're putting in is something that has really impressed me, and I've been thinking of inviting them on the show, and an opportunity came up I'll tell you about as well here in a minute. But anyway, I'm very, very happy to have them. That's Taylor and Danny. Danny and Taylor are on tonight from ChakraScales. I hope everybody had a fun and safe St. Patrick's Day. It's a great all-inclusive holiday. You just have to, have some beverages and go act like a fool. And it helps if you wear green. I had a blast. It was an amazing weekend. Myself and my two colleagues in the trio that I front, we played 4 shows in 3 cities in over 800 miles in 55 hours from Thursday night to I got home about 4 a.m. Sunday morning. So I had a blast. It was absolutely great. It's truly a joy in my life. And it's even more a joy in my life, not only that I get to do it, but the way that I've structured my businesses and basically my revenue. So my life, I have to do it. I like this. It's either go do that or I got to go back and actively run restaurants, which I've made some promises about that. Thanks to everybody that's here tonight. I saw a few new faces, and tonight's a really cool, cool development. StreamYard, those of y'all that don't know, StreamYard is the software that I use. So StreamYard is sort of like a virtual meeting hub where myself and the guests log into, and then StreamYard broadcasts out to YouTube or Facebook, or I think you can go on like LinkedIn and whatnot. I'm not 100% sure about Instagram. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, StreamYard announces yesterday when I logged in that the guests can now also broadcast the show on their own channels. And so first, that's cool because the guests, they feel more engaged and more involved, which always makes for a much better show, in my opinion. But secondly, in this world where reach and connectivity is everything. I mean, that's branding these days. That's marketing these days. This is a huge innovation. So for the first time ever, we are, I'll call it simulcasting. That always sounds so, like when I was growing up, that was a big deal, like the Live Aid concerts were simulcast. Anyway, we're on 2 channels. We're on the Proper Royals channel, and we are on a YouTube channel called the Uncooped Podcast, which is ChakraScales' other channel for their other business. That's their chicken channel. So, we're breaking down barriers here. All you chicken people, I hope you're enjoying it. It's nice to me. My name's Adam, and I hope that you'll hang out. It's a good place to be here in the ball python world too. So I don't know if we'll see chats from there. I don't know how it all works, but I'm real excited about that. John at Inkline, I know that you're in, man. You should check that out too, man. I think for reach, it's going to be a pretty cool opportunity. Yeah, John just said I got to learn how to multicast. John, when you go into the show to set it up, there's just one little slider that you push, and then we'll ask Taylor. I know he was working on it this afternoon from his end. From the setup end on my part, I just had to allow them to do it. I want to give, sorry, let me take a sip of this tea here. That's much better. A few really huge thanks. One, and I'm so glad that he's here. First and foremost, to Casey Goff. Casey Goff is the very first Patreon subscriber, and he is in the premium tier, which we call the Senius tier. That's only open to 5 people. It's really, really designed to be very, very collaborative, very hands-on. We dig into your numbers. We dig into your business model and your business plan. And then we actually work together and hold each other accountable for everybody in the group's goals. And we call it the Scenius because if you're on the scene with enough people that are dedicated collectively, that knowledge can become genius level when we're all together. And that's an idea and a concept that I really, really love. It's the whole surrounding yourself with like-minded, like directed individuals, you know? So, Casey, thank you so much. I know I owe you an initial contact. We're going to do that. Also, another Patreon subscriber is, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know people's real names. I don't even know if I know this person or not. I might or might not. But part of their email is SB Drunks. Maybe that's Santa Barbara. Oh, maybe that's a wine person like me. I don't know. SB Drunks. I'm glad to have you. Thank you so much. And there's 3 tiers. So there's the Senius tier, and that's the premium tier. That's $100 a month. After 3 consecutive months, because of the time that I'm going to commit to it, that converts into store credit. There's an investor tier, which is $35, which gets you access to the 24/7 live stream. But from day one on the $35 tier, your membership fees convert to store credit 100%. I eat the Patreon fees. And then if you just want a cool way to support me and to check in on what I'm doing and watch things, the 24-hour 3-camera live stream just for access to that, and first access. All Patreon members get first access to all inventory with no blackouts. If it's for sale, you guys get first dibs on it. And that's $7 a month. So it's a great way to support Proper Royals and support the channel here if you enjoy it on a regular basis, or you want to have a little more access to me, that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I'd love to meet you. Love to have you join on Patreon. All these links are down below in my link tree link as well. I have it set up. Hang on a second here. I say I do. Maybe I don't. No, I moved it, of course. I was going to show you all the live stream. I don't have it set up. Maybe it's on. Oh, yes, I do. I just don't know what I'm doing. Of course it's loading. There it is. You guys see it on there? Yeah, you can. So there's live video of 3 cameras in my snake facility. And there's an extra. You'll see me move my hand and wave around like I'm talking to you here in just a second. It's on a delay, obviously. Okay, the anticipation here is not that good. Check it out. The lighting's not great on there. Obviously, I have the lights off in the snake room, and then it's really dim behind me. You can see the studio lights that I have set up. Oh, there I am laughing, moving my hand and all. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, yeah, you can check that out. That's on 24/7, man. Full access to Proper Royals facility. That's free on YouTube right now. You don't have to pay for it at all. That's down in the link as well. That's free on YouTube right now, but that will go over to Patreon only eventually. I think that's, oh no, it's not all the announcements. Next week, I got Summer from the shop out in California. She was put in touch with me by Robin Marklin at Redline Shipping, one of our sponsors, one of our good sponsors too, by the way. All of them are good, but I mean, Robin is really helpful. Robin lets me pass on savings and shipping to you, the customer. I actually don't really get much other than exposure from being partnered with Robin at Redline Shipping. But Summer from the shop will be on next week. She is a reptile breeder, keeper, and her primary goal and mission is education. So reptile outreach, education in the community. And I think those people are very, very important. So she'll be on the show next week. So last week, if you saw the show, holy cow, my voice is just something, isn't it? I was a little bit grumpy and like frustrated, and I don't want to bore people. And I truly believe complaining accomplishes nothing. Sometimes you got to blow off steam, but in general, complaining accomplishes nothing. But this has happened 3 times to me now, and I got to keep it vague because I absolutely don't want to start any more drama or get in the politics of anything. I've had anywhere from a middle to a big dog booked on my show well in advance. Somebody like 20 years established. And all of a sudden, and again, I got to keep it vague because I don't care to fight it. I'm not going to become a podcaster slap fighter. That's not me. And all of a sudden, with no explanation, and frankly, this past time, no notice. If I hadn't checked with them, they wouldn't even have told me they were going to cancel. They cancel. And there's one little thing or big thing that all three of these stories have in common that let me know that it's tied to nonsense and stuff behind the scenes. So I said, you know what? If people won't show up, if they don't want to do the work, if they don't care about their brand, why am I going to care more about their brand? And I said, you know what? I'm going to go find somebody that I know cares about their brand, that I think works their butt off from what I see them doing on Instagram every day with like really good content, not just like me, I put up a reel and it's pretty good, but I go for quality over quantity, to be honest with you. Like, I want to show off snakes, and if you want to buy the snake, you can call me kind of thing is usually my content. Not always, but usually. But I see, and I'm talking about ChakraScales, I see Taylor and Danny's reels constantly and done very, very well, very creatively, very fun, very charismatically. I said, you know what? I've liked these folks. I've talked to them behind the scenes. We've chatted. They reached out to me about a animal ID one time. I said, you know what? Let me see what they're up to. And it was like, you'd have thought I told them they won $10,000 with their excitement to participate. And I was like, why would I fight against somebody who doesn't want to be here or doesn't think I'm in their league or has bigger fish to fry or whatever? I have no idea. And I was like, you know what? I just want to hang out and talk pythons. That's all I've ever wanted to do on this show, and have a really great community and learn from people. What am I going to beg somebody, or, what did I not kiss the right ring? I don't know. And I don't care. Like, I'm so happy with this community. I'm so happy with what we have going on. And I'm so happy with the people I get to spend my time with. So that is how ChakraScales ended up on the show, and how I sort of was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on people that do the hard work and that do the work and that have something to, fight for and chase after. So on top of that, they're really, really, really nice snakes. Like you should check out the double visual recessive projects, like more firepower than I'm dealing with. And they're really nice, great people. So for the first time ever, please welcome Taylor and Danny from ChakraScales outside of St. Paul, Minneapolis. St. Paul, St. Cloud, St. Paul. We're going to find out. From the frozen tundra in Minneapolis, please welcome ChakraScales. What's going on, guys?
What's going on,
thanks,
everybody?
Everyone, and thanks, Adam, for the opportunity. We are very excited.
Well, you're welcome. And like I say, man, what can I? Oh, yeah. This is Jessica from the Holdback Rack podcast. Yeah. Blindfolders kiddos. But you know what? You're exactly right. There's no kingmakers in reality. Yeah. And you know what? We'll go make our own kingdoms. And I'd rather hang out with that. I said it all. I don't want to dive back into it. But Jessica, you are, I've said it before. I really adore Jessica in an incredibly professional way. If y'all haven't seen the Holdback Rack, you should go see it. And the mix of academics, absolute dry, not give a one, you know what? It's fantastic. I don't have the guts for even to do some of what they pull off, and I think it's great. So anyway, go see the Holdback Rack podcast if you haven't. ChakraScales, what are you guys doing? You're breeding chickens, you're breeding ball pythons, you're out in Minnesota making cool videos. Like, give us the introduction. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah. You want to start us off?
Well, I can't take any of the social media credit because he's taken over the accounts and he loves TikTok and all the reels.
But she started off with the snakes. I kind of married into the snakes. She had four snakes as I started dating her. Kind of the first night I spent the night, I heard some sounds. I was like, what is that? What's that sound in the corner? It's 4 ball pythons. She always loved the pieds. I think the pieds is really kind of the thing that got us. So we always had 4 ball pythons as snakes. It was 3 pieds and a banana. So we kind of started off with that. We eventually bought a nice little farm here out in Minnesota. We have 6 acres here.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have horses, goats, chickens, peacocks, and then obviously all the reptiles inside.
Yeah.
How mean are your peacocks? My very limited interaction with peacocks is that I might even have venomous snakes before peacocks, man. What?
I've never had any problems with the peacocks. They're just
Really?
more flighty. They live in a little pen. No problem with them. I raised them as little baby chicks, so it was kind of fun hand raising them. So I haven't had any problems with them so far.
Of course, they're pied as well, so they're
Yep.
beautiful.
Pied peacocks.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that. So,
Yeah.
all right, for the lay peacock person, what's going to change on a pied peacock, or are all peacocks pied? Is that their nature?
No, so there's the standard color like you mostly see in all the pictures is going to be a blue, India blue peacock.
Yeah.
And then they have the pied version of basically every color, but the pied version is going to cut up, the pattern, add little whites. There's high pattern, there's low pattern. I mean, it's literally like ball pythons. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Does that spread out to its tails and the pattern on its tail? I mean, the tail feathers, I guess it only has one tail, but
yeah. So the tail could have, 75% white. It could have a little spot of white. It could have, sections of white. Really cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to Google pied peacocks.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I could just see explaining this to my wife. Well, we're peacock people now. This is what happens here.
Yeah.
Are the animals in the farm? Is that your business? Is that your livelihood? Is it part of it? Is it one day hope to be? Give us some context there.
Yeah, I would say it's one day hope to be. I love to combine all of it all together. Social media, animals. We both do work full time as well, but it's kind of like a dream of mine. And
we're able to raise what we produce, and we do have a big garden. But yeah, I raised Nigerian dwarf goats since high school, so I have acquired some of my old herd back as just retired pets, and then we took in some rescues. So we kind of have an oddball little crew. But I do have my first horse still, and she's turning 35 this spring. So
whoa.
Wonderful to get to interact with and be with these guys every day. Our passion is animals, so we love working with them.
So I know everything's relative because there's people that say you have 100 snakes, Adam. You're out of your head. How do you get anything done? And I do a lot, but it sounds like what you're doing is like a whole lot. Like that seems like a lot of care, or some of those animals more self-sufficient than we realize. Or talk us through some of the logistics and on keeping those animals.
No, I mean, it's full time, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. We go out there every morning, every night, feeding everyone hay and grain and filling waters. Thankfully, we do have an automatic water for our livestock, our bigger animals, but the chickens and stuff, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Do if you don't mind me asking, or anywhere that you don't want to discuss, that's cool too. I won't be offended. Do any of them provide revenue? Like, are they providing for themselves, or is it total like hobby pet stage right now?
I would say the goats and horses, no, they don't really provide much.
Okay.
They're just more animals. But as for the chickens, I do have a full on, small business that I run. I sell baby chickens. I hatch out, probably 600 chickens a year that I do on my own. I sell hatching eggs. I sell eating eggs. So yeah, they definitely pay for themselves and more.
Gotcha. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, because like people are like, well, do they pay for themselves? I'm like, does your dog like my snakes do, but not much, but they pay way more than the dog does, And I know nothing about like what's a good chicken run you these days? Like I know that like if I tell somebody what a double recessive clown pied runs, like their eyes pop out of their heads. Like what's a good chicken run you?
About like adult female hen, about $80 to $100 for some of my high end stuff. And
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, but the fun part is I sell hatching eggs, which the hatching eggs, obviously they're just from a pen that's specifically a certain breed. And then I sell that for a good, $50, $60 a dozen, which is really cool. I've been building up for over 4 years, so it's definitely high quality stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of people around here don't have.
How does, not to turn this into a complete full-on chicken show, but I am interested. I'm intrigued because I love figuring out like business angles and figuring out the business and how it works. If anybody thinks I'm not engaged with US Arc, that is Eugene Bissett calling me at 8:20 at night, and I can't take his call right now. Sorry, that's another little hot topic, but that's a different story. Okay, so this chicken, how many? I mean, a hatching egg, will they lay that every day? No.
Every other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes up for the lower price. You got your higher volume.
Exactly. So you're getting a lot more volume, as in when the snakes is, you're banking on those double, triple recessives.
Yeah.
Is your main.
Big swings. Right.
Yeah. I got to do a lot more in the chicken sales, but I'm really invested in the high quality with the snakes, so I can do high end, low numbers.
Right. Well, and I don't know, do you find chicken buyers more accessible or ball python buyers more accessible? I mean, I assume more people are buying chickens, but then I had no idea that there were so many of us in ball pythons and stuff either when I started,
I would say this year has definitely increased just the demand with like all egg prices and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah, you got rich this year when it came to eggs, huh?
Oh, this year it's just been ranking in.
You're like, hey girl, I got you some eggs. Like,
right? It's gold right now.
In the winter, they do slow down on production, so we often have lists of people waiting for eggs longer than we can provide, unfortunately. But
nice. Well, I mean, that's that's a nice problem. Congratulations. I mean, that's like an established situation. So, and I promise I'll move on from the chickens. I'm incredibly intrigued. How many hens do you have that lay? Like what's your breeding stock?
Well, I have a special breeding pen that's like probably about 30 of them. And then I just have like a free range group that's more for the eating eggs, which is probably about 40 to, I would probably say 50 hens in there. Okay. So I would say total around 80 to 100 chickens.
Wow. And what's the mix of male to female?
I would probably say like 10 to 90.
Okay. Yeah. So your males those roosters are doing their thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know this is a super dumb question. You're going to be like, man, I thought Adam was a pretty smart dude.
No.
I know there's going to be an answer. I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm the dummy here. You said some of them are laying and some of them for eating. Is this just a matter of time before the eating ones become laying or hatching ones, or are they handled different, or what do you do different there?
No, I would say, so like some of them are, bred for like egg production. Like your typical red brown chicken you see. I would say I have like a mix of those different ones. And then in my breeding pen, I have special, like, I would say like your double, triple recessives in my special pen that, only, so it's their special breed and special color of their feather types that I
gotcha. So within, maybe not the species, because are they different species or they're all just
they're all the same.
How does that work?
Different breeds, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So within each breed though, you wouldn't have like, you would only hatch the ones that you want to hatch if you wanted to create more for eating, so to speak, on the one side. And then on the other side, you wouldn't eat those eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one is specifically for eating, and the other one is specifically for like kind of breeding, hatching. They're high-end stuff that no one really around here has, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like my own little market.
Do you have those chickens that look like they're wearing like bell bottoms? Like they got they got like long johns just swinging around on some of those.
All the funky ones are my favorite ones. All the afros and all the different feathers. Yeah. I just love them all.
I don't know what they are, but these were like jacked little chickens, and then they had like big baggy like Jinko pants on that it looked like they were just feathers. But there was 3 of them running across the road. Actually, when we were leaving to go down south out on tour on Friday morning, I was like, I feel like those are higher dollar chickens than just run around in Florida naturally.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, my chicken interest is satiated at the moment. I
Right?
might have more. I see people from your channel commenting. This is fantastic. I want to
That's
welcome
awesome.
people from the Uncooped. Did I get it right? Uncooped podcast.
Yeah, just starting it up. I'm starting up this week. Actually, it's my first episode on Friday.
Cool. What time is? Oh yeah, give us a quick rundown on that. What time is that going to
Yeah,
be for
I mean,
people that do want to check out?
I'm taking a little bit from the chicken, from the snake world, and there's no podcast in the chicken world. I'm like,
it must be wonderful. Must be
Yeah.
like heaven. You don't have nobody else like ruining the airwaves or
Yeah.
anything.
I'm like, I got a full wide open. So, I wanted to interview, top content creators, chicken people, farm-based, homesteading, stuff like that. And
yeah,
just kind of, learn more things, connect with people, community, just as well as the snake community. I love all of them. So
that's
very involved in both.
Yes, for sure.
I think it's cool. And I think it's a proven model, like even in my restaurant consulting, like most of my clients aren't there yet, but like when the day comes that we operationally succeed, I'm going to be like, you guys, you should start a live behind the scene live show once a week just to build community and intrigue. And it's just this snowball effect of a marketing angle. I think it's fantastic. I think it can reach far beyond our crazy little ball python world,
Exactly. Yep. I've built a whole little community from here, and it's cool to see all the different people in the chats. It's I just want to give a shout out to JSA, Reptiles, Joe and Sheena. They've been really helpful. They live only about 45 minutes from here, and they've been super helpful starting us off. They've really, we probably got like 6 snakes from them now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're great people. We had them over for dinner, and we picked their brains about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I need customers like that take me to dinner, buy me snake. No.
Right.
Actually, Shannon's in the audience. Shannon Peck. He's bought some steak. He's bought some snakes and taken me to dinner. Actually, I can't complain. He's right there. I could say that. Yeah. That's not such a bad thing.
Snake people are good people. We got Chris in the building.
Yes.
We got Evan from Unlikely Morphs. That's the homie right there.
Yeah, awesome. There's a fair number of new people tonight, so it's great. I don't know where I don't know if they're coming from the chicken side or the ball python side. Everybody's welcome. And actually, if there are any new viewers, I keep the show PG, at worst PG-13. Maybe if one thing slips out, but like by and large, family friendly and stay on topic and none of the drama and all that. So and hang out. Bring your friends, family, whatever you guys have. So. All right, so back to the snakes. So, Danny, you had the snakes to begin with. So when did this turn from, the 3 pieds and a banana, which, by the way, if every breeder was smart, we would just give out like 3 pieds and a banana kits to just get like that's everybody's like intro drug, right? That's what we need. Okay, and then so when did it elevate to I see 3 racks behind you right now. So when did it elevate to kind of the scope that you're talking about and working on now?
Yeah, well, I guess for me, I grew up loving reptiles, catching frogs, and I would build them little sandcastle hotels, in fact, and turtle races, all the things. Then I started going to the U for kind of pre-vet. I was going to be a large animal veterinarian, and I ended up on a path that led me to an exotic vet clinic. And before that, in college, I was raising leopard geckos in my little kind of dorm and apartment.
We have to translate. The U is the University of Minnesota for everybody.
Yes, so sorry. Yep, University of Minnesota, Twin Cities campus. I
only know that I'm like an honorary Minnesota. With my wife is from Minnesota, so and that's where my wife got her undergrad as well from. Oh no, excuse me, her graduate degree is from University of Minnesota.
Awesome, great campus there. Yeah, but I had lots of critters in my apartment. I think over 40 with the turtle and mice and all the things. But anyway, we got the main 4 in 2014, and that was pre us meeting, and my goal was always to raise them because I was successful with the leopard geckos, and I wanted to raise hopefully banana pieds one day. I just heard.
Okay, so wait, I'm sorry. So 2014, what did you spend on 3 pies and a banana in 2014?
It wasn't terrible. I got the 2 pastel pies as a pair, and I think I paid $12.50 for 2. Got them shipped actually to my little small animal exotic vet clinic I was working at. And then the other pie, I think she was only $500. And then the banana, he was a posset pie. I think he was $650. So terrible.
Had they figured out the sex link on Banana Gene yet at that point in time or not?
I don't recall. I mean, it wasn't Morph Market then, so it was really hard to keep up with the breeders in my conversation.
Did you know about the sex link? Like, were you like, hey, is this going to be a male maker or female? You didn't? Okay, yeah.
Not at all. Yeah, I saw the picture in one of the Morph books, and I was inspired. They're beautiful animals, and to get the
Were you ordering from a magazine or were you ordering from King Snake? Where were you finding these?
So I got 2 or the original pastel pied pair from 360 Morphs. I don't think he's around anymore, but he was a very nice guy out in New York. Then from his friend, that's how I got another female pied for kind of that discounted, and I don't recall what his business name was.
Yeah. But so these were all independent websites that you were Googling and finding?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got it. So. I swear, like the business world that we have today, I mean, literally all roads go back to Morph Market. I mean, can you imagine if Morph Market weren't like tomorrow gone? Like we'd all just look around and stare like, I got to get my website going. I got to get on top of that,
Yeah, for sure.
It's super beneficial to this industry.
Yeah. Well, and with the advent of Instagram, and I know YouTube was around in 2014, but I think it's being used and monetized and leveraged in different ways. We actually would go on okay. It'd be a pain outside of Morph Market, but I probably sell actually as much or more off of Morph Market as I do on it. So, I mean, there are other avenues, but
definitely.
What an innovation though, right?
Yeah,
oh, for sure.
And just learning and IDing, like, I mean, you could spend hours just checking out, the new listed, be like, oh, okay, that goes with that. And, that gene does that to that. Yeah, I just love studying it all.
I do too. And it became, for me, it became a distraction from the pandemic and trying, just the wait. And I know I wasn't the only one dealing with that. But it's just complicated enough to be really interesting. And just simple enough that if you actually try, you can understand it, so it became this like fulfilling endeavor that it was like, wait a minute, look, I'm a big boy. Look at this. I could do this, and it was like, anyway, it was just a great combination of things. And then obviously the snakes are super cool too. So, and sorry. So continue on when I sidetracked you from, on my question there.
Yeah, I always intended on breeding them, but like I said, I was really comfortable with raising goats and rabbits and all kinds of things through 4-H and FFA, and my mini Aussies did great, but I was just so scared something would happen to my male on introduction that I just put the brakes on and I never tried pairing them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It actually took meeting Taylor and his interest in chickens and all the incubators he ended up buying and all the hatching. I'm like, why can't you help me with the snakes? Yeah. And why can't we try this venture together? And eventually, I think you found Brian's podcast.
Yeah, it was Brian and, of course, Miguel, all over the YouTube. During the pandemic, I was actually laid off from a restaurant working. Mm-hmm. I worked for restaurants for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
I actually was on that exact day when, everything shut down and I was told to go home in maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah. I remember that day.
So, a lot of time spent at home. I was like, oh, Google or, YouTubing and everything. And, Brian Barczyk and, Miguel and Justin. And it's insane. Just like you said, I think the combination with the genetics, it's kind of like math, but it's like really fun to, what would pair from this to that.
Right.
And then obviously you get to create beautiful animals. So I think like it was just a perfect combination of everything coming together. I'm like, we have snakes. Why wouldn't we just, pair them up, see what we can get,
Yeah. What do we have to lose here? And actually, I mean that kind of seriously, like,
right. Yeah.
give it a shot and we're going to take care of them kind of deal. And again, it seems like just intricate and complicated enough to require focus, but a very attainable goal, and I think that's part of the magic of why we saw ball pythons explode at the time that we did, and what we're kind of coming out of right now, I think.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. And I think like at the very beginning when we first started dating, because we've been dating we've been together for over 7 years now. And I think I heard something about, you have to lower temperatures, you have to, brumate, all these different things. I think I was super turned off, and I'm like, oh, this is way complicated. But at the end of the day, you kind of just put the male in.
It just turns out you just sling them in there. Yeah.
This is way easier than I expected.
Yeah. And even from like last year to this year, like last year, I was like, man, they're not breeding enough. Like I got to make sure like this can't miss and that. And I didn't think that you could wear the poor boy out, or maybe make the female mad too. Not woman, the female snake. And like, it's been really weird for me to be like, once a month is fine, Adam. Once a month, you see it, you unsee it. Okay, all done. See you next month. Like,
It kind of goes against everything. Like I've been learned with breeding all these different animals. Right. Keep the males with the females, and it's been a really fun journey to learn the science and all that different behind the males and the females of the breeding of the ball pythons.
Yeah, I have to admit, other than breeding fish cichlids, this is my first go at breeding. Well, I had a hamster episode when I was 11, but other than that, I haven't. I wasn't trying to breed them then, but although I tell you what was funny, my mother flipped her lid. We had like a litter of like 11 or 12 hamsters, a remarkable amount of hamsters, and my mother was like, you have to do something with these. And I was like, oh, I'm 11. What am I going to do? And she's like, put them in your backpack, go to the pet store and drop them off. And I was like, okay, I don't think this is how it works, but all right. And I get there and the guy goes, I'll give you $1 for every regular one and $2 for every albino one. So I marched myself back home with like $30 in my pocket. And I was like, all taken care of, Mom.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably where you got your entrepreneurial mind right there.
It did not, well, depending on how you see it, it didn't help or it didn't hurt. But yes, it did encourage it. I was like, $30, man. All right.
That's like gold.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, and that was like 1991. I mean, that was pretty solid, like you give a kid $30, man. That was pretty good. So how many, give us some like present day stats. What are you working with now as far as your snake collection?
So I think we're up to like about 35 ball pythons. Well, we actually have 4 of those are African house snakes.
Okay.
She kind of has a little side project that she's been working on. I don't know if you're too familiar with African house snakes, but
I'm not, but please seriously tell us about them.
I mean, the house or the care of them is very similar to ball python.
Okay.
There's a lady, April Linkfield. She's been kind of leading the whole African house snake thing here in the U.S. I think Garrett Hartle actually acquired a big collection, so that should be kind of fun. He's breeding them too. But it's mostly obviously in Africa and Europe is their main businesses out there, but they come in really cool morphs. They got albinos, recessives, all these different fun morphs. And we got four of them.
Are these colubrids or are they,
they're actually lamprophid. So, and they look like lamprophid.
Lamprophid, okay.
Yep. And they look like little pythons, but I mean, full size, I don't even know how long, pretty small. And they can stay in the same rack, like same temperature. Snake. Yeah, but they're not colubrids.
Yeah. I mean, size wise.
Yeah.
I gotcha. And so we say the same racks, the same like idea or literally the same size, like the same, what do you have back there behind you? Like 5540s?
Yeah. We have them in V18s.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they're babies, and we have one adult Then she's just in the 5540 rack, one of those subs, and she eats the small ASFs.
Gotcha. Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you're overlapping the same stuff. And are you breeding your own? Yeah. What do you do for rodents? That's always a great topic of chatter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, actually, we started breeding ASFs. We started with ASFs, and we learned that they're a little difficult.
Okay.
They're very good escape artists. They like to escape a lot. If you have a home built rack.
Yeah.
I'd love to get like a, ARS rodent rack, something like that. Eventually, that's the goal this year. But yeah, we have one rack full of ASFs, and then we got 4 racks of regular rats. Just been breeding them, and it's really helping just being able to feed our own collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where's the preference lie for you on ASFs versus rats? Why both?
We actually kind of switch off in between. Like some weeks we'll do ASF, some weeks we'll do rats. I started with the ASFs, and I was like, I wanted to do that full on, but then I learned that they're a lot slower to breed than the rats. And
I gotcha.
I'm like, okay, I got to ramp up production quickly. What's the best way?
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. It's taking a dark turn about the ASFs eating their babies. Yeah, I never have ASFs for more than a day or two. And actually, it's a really apropos time. I get mine from a guy named Tradesman Exotics here in town. Tito's his name. Anybody in Jacksonville that is looking for ASFs, Tito is actually able to take on another customer or two. So I've been doing business with him for over a year, and like, knock on wood, but I don't worry about anything. Like, I tell him what I need. He kind of has, I tell him if I'm about to have babies or whatever, hatchlings coming, but otherwise my order's pretty consistent every week. And there's never been a time where he's like, oh, I don't have them or this or that. And actually when he goes out of town, I watch his animals. And when I go out of town, he watches mine, kind of deal. So it's a really great relationship that way. But because I'm incredibly allergic to, if you think I sound bad now, put some ASFs in the room with me. Like, it gets bad fast, So I have no desire to raise my own rodents, and only maybe 12%, 15% of mine are still on ASFs. I start them as hatchlings and then try and convert them to frozen thaw just as quick as possible.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I definitely believe in the ASFs as like good with the problem eaters. I feel like they thrive a little bit better off ASFs personally, but just keeping up with the production of them is a lot harder than rats.
Yeah.
You got to have numbers. You got to have, 2 times as much as what you think you need.
I don't know. Like I say, I'm out of that production world, and I'm sure most people in the audience actually would know far more about rodent production than I do. I know I press the button and they arrive, and that is all I want in my life. Yeah, and when it comes to rodents, But then again, I have to do shows like this and find sponsors to pay for those rodents. So it's a trade-off on that. Exactly. So I know that you specifically say that you're working double recessive projects. Yep. And I believe, was it clown pieds that you're focused on? Yeah, clown pieds is kind of our main focus. And I know you have some. How many clown pieds do you have? Visually, we have 2 visual clown pieds. Okay. Male and a female. All right. So tell us some more about you don't have to tell us about all 36 snakes, but what's the concept here? How do we go from 2 clown pied visuals to the 36?
Yeah. Well, almost everything that we have is either bringing in new codoms and it's a double het, or it's actually, we have some triple hets too. And I guess we're just hoping to, the double visual to the hets seem to have more of that heterozygous vigor. So I don't know if that's been as researched in snakes, but something we're interested in seeing how they do, not planning on pairing the 2 visuals together, but we do have a hypo DG too. So, we're not working on quad hets at this point, but we're looking at it for future stuff.
Sure.
And swirling all the different recessives that we love together with all the beautiful codoms that the snakes can offer. And
so we all get
grow our way.
We all get really caught up in all the recessives and the double recessive. Myself too. Actually, it's so funny. Like if anybody were ever like, "What are you thinking about, Adam?" I'd be like, "How can I get from my double recessive to a triple visual with what I have?" And they're like, "What?" Anyway, that's nobody's ever actually asked me, but that's literally what. Anytime that I have downtime, I'm like, "All right, what do I need to do?" Like I just bought a male today, and it was a great situation. But I almost backed out of it because I was like, wait a minute, I got to map all this out and make sure this is what I want to do. And I was like, just get the snake at him. You'll be fine. Yeah. But sorry. So we're all thinking about these recessives all the time. What codoms are you guys working with though? And what excites you right now? Because the clown pied situation is still, I mean, relatively new. They've existed a long time, but as far as actually being worked, there's not that much out there.
Yeah. I mean, really, we're working on, I would love to work towards hypo clown pie. That's kind of our second goal, really.
Yeah.
But some of the codoms that we love, Orange Dream, we got a Mojave yellow belly leopard double het clown pie. That will be pretty cool to see. We got one of our main males. He's a leopard clown, triple het, hypo pie DG. So he's pretty important to our.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big. He's from Justin, so that
you guys have jumped right in here, man. This is wow. I gotta come visit. Like I'm gonna bring a few of my females. Yeah. We're gonna come. Actually, my wife will be in Cannon Falls and Minneapolis this summer. Actually, I've got, like I said, I'm gonna be staying here, but she'll be up there. But one of these days I'll get up there. Sorry,
we're just working. We base the entire project around clown pies, double, triple, maybe even quad in the future. But yeah, it's really cool to see what we're gonna produce our first year. We kind of strategically did this where we're gonna be doing, visual. We have a super. Well, we don't know yet. Super Enchi, maybe.
Yeah.
We talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we first messaged. Actually, I was like, "You think this is possibly a Super Enchi?" We're sold. He doesn't know if it was a Super Enchi. He's an Enchi clown pie, Paw Super. So he's going to be going to some of the stuff as well as with the other boy as well. So
gotcha.
Really cool to see kind of what pops out this year.
Some couple people asked. Sorry, guys, it wasn't exciting. I'm not holding out on you. It's a fire clown mature male. Fire is probably my single favorite gene in clown to build combos on top of, and I don't have any in my clown project, so it's probably going to be like a one season and done, move them on kind of thing. But I gotta get clown. I got all these other hatchling bangers coming up, and I still don't have any fire in my clowns. And I was like, just buy them, you'll figure out the math, but I got to get them in somewhere, and then I'm gonna have to hold back those babies as well. But anyway, so yeah, people were asking. That was the fire clown is what I picked up, and I got that from Snakes for the Memories. That's Jeremy and Holly down in Okeechobee, Florida. So they're awesome people. I've gotten to vend with them, and I'll be vending the same show, not the same booth, but the same show with them April 15th in Kissimmee, Florida. So anyhow, they've become good friends. Talk about putting in the work. They're doing the work, and you'll see their faces and logo on my screen. They like I said, it was a great deal today. It worked out very well. So I have a fire clown that I'll have sometimes.
We don't have any fire yet, actually, surprisingly.
I have to balance it because of the, obviously the super fires, you got to watch out for it, but it looks so amazing in Axanthic, and I have Axanthic projects. It looks so great. And really even in pied, it brightens up things as well, but it looks just fantastic. And every time I see a clown, when I'm like, that looks killer. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's fire again. And I was like, how do I not have this in my clown project? So I picked him up. I'll put him to some strategic female, and then at least I'll have it in the mix,
Yep. I saw Steven and Courtney's video with the there at Tinley, and the Fire Sunset looked pretty good actually. I like the Fire Sunset.
Oh yeah, they were. You know what? I gotta watch. What's that?
The yellow belly, Fire Yellow Belly, I think it was Sunset. That one was really cool. I like that one.
And now they have one that they think is yellow belly. Was that theirs? That was the Fire as well, or that was one that they saw?
It was from Brock Wagner's station.
Gotcha. At the table. Got it. Yeah. So, what's up, Trago? So you were just talking about your pairings. Are those underway? Are you actively waiting on ovulations and eggs, or that'll be this fall when you start pairing?
Yeah, we just started pairing. We probably got about 4 or 5 pairings right now that we got going on.
Cool.
We have a girl. The original part of the original 4 that we had bought an adult male. He's an orange dream leopard pied, 100% a lavender albino. We paired him to our pastel pie that she had, was like 8 years old. She's 8 years old.
Yeah.
And so we got 5 locks out of them. It's still so hard to like know the signs fully.
Right.
Ovulation and all these different things. But she refused 3 meals now. She has some shed. She's really thick. I mean, we're hoping.
So is she on the hot side or the cold side right now?
She's on the hot side. She's kind of been going back and forth.
Okay. Is she? Well, I mean, like every one of them's a little bit different, and without an ultrasound, you won't know totally for sure. And you're right. It's like, it's so easy when you see a picture on Instagram and you're like, oh yeah, that's an ovulation. And then you look in the drawer and you're like,
what
is it? I think is it or not? And like, it's way easier now that I have an ultrasound because I can anticipate like I knew, okay, 8-10 days from now or 2 weeks from now, I'm going to see an ovulation, and boom, it sure enough happened. But I opened a tub the other morning where I was like, oh my gosh, this girl, how did I miss this ovulation? And I went and I checked. There's absolutely no it's an ovulation because the follicles are still like 22, so their behaviors are crazy. But if that snake moves to the hot side and then has kind of a perfect spiral coil and it'll make a noticeable nest too. But anyway, all those signs sound pretty good though too.
She's in a perfect coil right now on the hot side. So
well, hey, there it is. Yeah.
Right. We started pairing her in December, so we're hoping.
Cool. And so I take it that you're not working with an ultrasound right now, though, right?
No, but that's one of the good benefits as Danny's a veterinary tech. She uses an ultrasound daily, so.
Wow, cool.
If we're able to get one, I'll be pretty familiar with the program. We use the butterfly one at work every day. iPad. So
yeah, you get the wireless one.
Right. Yeah.
I Brandon Nixon in the audience. He's got one. I'm like, I couldn't quite pull the trigger on it.
I know they're pricey, and I think they have a membership too or something. I don't know exactly.
One time. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, that's one of the benefits. We would love to get an ultrasound, but some people don't need. I don't know. We'll see.
I found, for whatever it's worth, my first 2 seasons I didn't use an ultrasound, and I got eggs. I had babies just fine. Although at a rate of only about 50% of the females that I was pairing. Now that could be because I shouldn't have been pairing them. It could have been all sorts of different things. But so we'll see what kind of my conversion rate is this year. But I found that I liked it because it doesn't change anything, but it sort of confirms what you're thinking or tells you if you're right or wrong. So it's almost like you were talking about Morph Market. You can look and learn and watch by seeing the morphs. It's kind of how I feel with the ultrasound. And I tell myself too, when I'm ultrasounding, I'm like, I don't know if I'm getting the biggest follicle. Like if I see one, boom, that's what I'm measuring. Cause I might not find it again on that snake, like I know that about myself. So, so I don't think by any means I'm making the only decision I've made based on the on the ultrasound is if repeatedly I see no follicles, or now that I've had an ovulation happen, now I'm going to stop pairing her and that kind of thing. Yeah. And the ultrasound confirmed that. Everything in between is still once a month pairing. I don't care what that measurement says. I'm going until,
I really like what Billy and Austin, one of their videos talking about, follicle size and how he breeds, how he pairs with the male, 12, 25, 32, I think it is, or whatever.
Yeah.
He's been really cool with the information on that part.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the same episode because I'm sure they talk about it a lot. But yeah, earlier this season, I was like, wait a minute, I got an ultrasound. And I was like, okay, I think I wrote 12, 26, and 30 or something like that.
Yeah, something around that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and I feel when I didn't have an ultrasound, I felt like there was this like gang of ultrasound people like, oh, you don't have an ultrasound, you got to get, no, it can be done without it. And I know it can.
Yeah.
But I do have to say I was converted. And I'll tell you what the really funny, what the genesis was for me finally going, all right, I'll get one, is when I talked to my tax guy and he was like, well, Adam, you're going to be in the situation that you're going to owe money. So you can either give your money to the IRS or you can work up some legitimate expenses. And I was like, what? Excuse me? And he's like, well, don't go into debt for this stuff, but you're going to have to pay this stuff, or you can have some business expenses. You have a little space to work with. And I was like, all right, how much? And Kelly and I made a list, and it was like, all right, here's a new Mac. Basically it was like, if we knew we were going to buy it in 2023, we went ahead and bought it in the fourth quarter of 2022. And the ultrasound was on that list. Honestly, I would not have bought it because the Pythons weren't profitable last year, but my other income was, and I could use that expense to offset it. So anyway, the tax guy got the ultrasound for me.
Yeah, it's cool to see your little stories with your son and you guys doing the ultrasounding. That's fun.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool when he's, I never want to force anything on him. I couldn't if I wanted to. He's his own kid, but like, it's cool to see him interested. I hope he stays into it. He does not seem interested whatsoever in music, but who knows? We'll see.
One of the two.
Right.
Or whatever, but it's like, it's cool. It's a cool moment that I have in the moment that even if nothing ever comes from it, I can look back and be like, man, that was a cool day. We were, here's what a life, I quit this grind of a life that wasn't all that healthy for me. And I'm incredibly happy, and I have those moments now. So cool.
Right. Yeah. I know Jana from the Hold Back Rep podcast. She has her daughter help with the vending and stuff like that too, and she had her own business, and it was kind of fun to hear. This is good skills to learn from their parents and whatnot.
I think it is, and I watch a lot of. So I don't consider myself an ace at marketing or sales.
Sure.
But if I don't consider myself that, and I know I need it, then I like dive off the deep end into learning everything I can. So I'm sure everybody's got an opinion of Gary Vee if anybody watches him.
Right.
But I find him pretty insightful and very, very good at what he does. Even if I don't like his content, the guy is incredibly good at what he does. But he talks about how he thinks that doing yard sales or garage sailing is the perfect thing for teenagers to get into because they got to figure out the logistics of how to get there. You got to get up early and be there first. You got to learn how to write a nice description on eBay to make somebody want to buy what was literally somebody else's junk. And it makes them decide what they're going to invest in or what they're going to drop money on and what they think, all of those things. And I'm like, yeah, that is cool. And that's kind of what I see with Charlie. So I take him to shows and stuff with me, and I really don't like shield him from the money discussions either. I know a lot of people think that maybe kids shouldn't hear about the money. And I'm like, I want them to know how hard we work for what we have and value what we do have when we get to do nice things,
Exactly. Yeah. It teaches them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he resents it sometimes when he's like, Dad, can I have $20? And I'm like, absolutely not. You have nothing good to do with $20. And he's like, you just sold $1,000 snake. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not all profit. Okay. Let's go back to the spreadsheet over here, kiddo.
Right.
So what's your big what's your best possible result on your pairings this year? Back to you all and your snakes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the best bet is we have a Justin to Justin pairing. So this is pretty cool. Canova to Canova. We have a leopard, that male leopard clown triple het to our yellow belly triple het hypo clown pied. They've gotten. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you got one of those clutches. You could get every one of them could look normal, or the next one could be your Hawaiian vacation next
It's
February.
Really, when I was kind of writing down my spreadsheets, I'm like, okay, so I could get a normal triple het, or I could get a triple visual that's 50% het DG. So it's kind of crazy,
right? Yeah, no, that's really cool. All right, I'll be interested to hear what happens on that one. Yeah. I was trying to explain she understands all these things, but I was explaining to my wife. So I've got a blackhead het genetic stripe to a blackhead het genetic stripe, and that's the female that's ovulated. And she's like, "So what could we get?" And I was like, "Well," and I should have just said we could get a super blackhead genetic stripe, and I don't even know if that's ever been done before.
Right.
But I made the mistake of saying, well, we could get normals or we could get something that's never been created before. And she was like, but they'd all be het, right? And I was like, yeah, no, maybe not. Maybe not. That could truly be nothing but normal all the way to, I don't know if it's the world's first. I don't get caught up in that, but like for me, may as well be, kind of deal. I'm like, she was like, is that the kind of decisions we should make? Should they be more certain than that? I'm like come on, give me the chance, Yeah.
That's how it goes in the snake world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You got to play the odds.
Well, she's got that deep-seated Minnesotan trait of impending doom around every corner. We're just one good, blizzard and power outage and car dying on the side of the road from death. I mean, this is daily life, and
For sure.
Growing up on the mean streets of the Minnesotan prairie, so
exactly.
She likes a little more certainty than that in her life, for sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of uncertainty out here.
Yeah. All right. So, Ed, so what's another pairing that you could come out with?
So the other one, the 8-year-old one, that should be a pied, hopefully all pied. That would be kind of cool. Orange stream, leopard, pastel pieds, 100% het. Or 50%
it's visual to a het though, right?
No, visual to visual for our very first pairing. It was the 8-year-old female. Oh,
that's a visual pied to a visual pied.
Yep. So
I'm sorry.
Our very first would be visual pieds. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I could promise you if they go, they'll be visual pieds. Yeah, you don't know ifs, ands, or buts, man. You're in there.
I don't think I'm getting any normals in that one.
Yeah, if you get normals in that one, we need to talk. We're going to have a whole new show content.
Yeah, but that one, what else do we got going?
We have a pastel triple het to that Justin male as well.
Yep, we got another triple het that's hypoclown pied, and she's pastel. She was from Kyle over at Royal Ambassadors in Wisconsin. He's been really helpful too as well. So we're swinging for the odds.
Yeah, well, both for the odds, but I mean, your investments are phenomenal. I mean, and if you guys have seen the show, I'm pretty open about this stuff.
Yeah.
So was it, and look, none of us are dumb. We know the caliber of animals you're dealing in. So what is the long-term look, or what was the idea? Like, was there a plan when you went in, or did you just happen to spend a whole bunch of money, or was there a conscious effort to go, we're going to spend a lot, but we're okay with that, and then X amount of time we hope to start to see a return? Or is it completely, hey, we got the resources and this is what we want to see and what we want to do and what makes us happy, let's do that?
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both.
Cool.
We have that passion of animals that is instilled in us, and then we both have business mindsets as well. And we bought in knowing it's going to take time, and knowing we're not going to get returned first year. Thanks, Chris Eaton. That's for you. We're never going to make our money back. But no, We looked at it.
I disagree. You'll make your money back.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
If you do it right, I
For
think you can make money and you can profit off of this business 100%.
Yeah, you can. And somebody that I respect hugely and who's been, for the record, been doing it probably longer than I've been alive. He said to me, you don't have to be rich. You got to have cash flow. If you have cash flow to live on and your assets are getting bigger and you're able to produce more and more volume and you're growing your customer base, you're going to get rich. You're going to. And that's anything. That's whether it's ball pythons or anything else. And the other thing I'll say about that Charlie from Reagan Renee Pythons and I joke about, if I were to go buy a rental house tomorrow, what's the number? 200 grand, 250, whatever. Let's say 200. Nobody says, well, when are you going to get your money back?
Right.
They say, can you rent enough to cover the mortgage and will you make money each month?
Exactly.
Nobody goes, are you going to get your 200 back? Yeah, I'm going to get my 200 back when I sell it and I liquidate.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you make enough each time to keep your head above the water? Because you're going to grow your assets with the snakes that you have and your holdbacks, just like a rental property grows equity and nobody worries about because they know it has value. You have value sitting in your racks back there. So I don't get caught up in that. When are you going to get your money back stuff?
Yeah.
I'm far more curious of could and this isn't my business. I don't need to know this part of your business, but can somebody afford it up front to where you can't put yourself in danger? You can't go homeless buying snakes, but don't do that. And then can you succeed? Can you live until you can start generating that income? Otherwise, it's nobody's business. Well, none of it's anybody's business, but it's certainly nobody's business otherwise. There's my 2 cents.
Right. No, we knew going into it, we're like, okay, it's going to take at least, 2 to 3 years to even, potentially produce a snake. So we're looking at it as a business, also as a fun venture.
Yeah.
We were either looking at this or Airbnb, a rental property. We had put some money aside for a business startup, and everything has risk. We're like, well, what's the best risk? What risk are we going to enjoy the most?
Right.
And we get to produce amazing snakes, and if they take time to sell, that's normal. I'm not worried about that.
Well,
as Jessica and Jana they always say, your snake doesn't sell the year you make it. It's going to sell that next year, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's statistically, and I would say I find in my experience, I'm actually, I guess, relatively quickly able to move them usually. So, I think, look, I think that there are one of my favorite expressions. There's 9 million ways to run 9 million different businesses. Yeah. It's the determination of the person, the resources they have, and who they surround themselves with, and then from there, I mean, you got to do a lot of work, but that's what you start with. But people make money on Airbnbs and they make money on long-term rentals. People make money on ball pythons, breeding them. They make money wholesaling them. I don't know how anybody would ever make a penny wholesaling snakes. There's people that only wholesale snakes.
Right.
Okay. So I'm always intrigued. And also, if you watch the show, my concern is not to judge if somebody has a good plan or not. I'm intrigued by learning because, like I say, there's so many different ways to do things. I'm bound to learn something from somebody,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think so. We kind of set up our whole breeding collection, clown het pied, pied het clown, introducing those codoms into it. Everything has a different codom. So we really kind of strategically did this where, eventually we would love to make some money off of it and help pay back, what we put into it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, get to keep the best of the best,
Exactly.
got to hold back. You got to hold back the best of the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you go starting hitting some of your doubles and your triples, it's going to swing really fast. And that's something that I second guess myself on looking back, because the lower level entry that I went in at, it's been much easier to sort of get in the black and be get that positive cash flow going. On the other hand, this is my third season, and I do have a chance this year for some double recessives. So I mean, I'm not playing poor boy over here. I'm doing okay, but I do wonder if I could be doing more. But there's always that what if, like, I stay afloat because a whole lot of people buy a whole lot of $300, $400, and $500 snakes from me. Like, at $500 a click, that's still a lot of money. Like, I know a lot of people that work a week for that. You know what I mean? So like, if I'm moving those, a couple of those a week, like, life is still good. So again, I think there's so many different ways to go after it and so many different ways to find success with it.
Yep, exactly. And with the, the pairing of that triple het that we're doing, kind of everything in between is really fun to hatch. So, hypo clown, hypopides, it's all going to be really fun.
Right.
And then whatever, that's not a visual clown will be 100% het clown too. And the other stuff will be 50% het. So it'll be really fun to see.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have this stockpile that starts to become more and more valuable, especially as you start sitting back going, all right, if I put A to B, what do I get? If I put A to C, A to D, A to D. Okay, others out of the way. That's going to be A to D. Now, okay, you two are for sale. Now, A to E, what happens? And I love that part of it, and I love dreaming about that, and I love thinking through it.
Exactly.
Got to say hey to Phil. Phil was one of the first guys that I think watched the show. Not the very first, and Mark right above him too, but Phil is like, I remember him telling me early on, he's like, don't worry about the odds, throw them together. And then I'd be like, look what I created. And he's like, here's my lavender clowns. Poof, made those off a double het to double het. And I'm like, all right, Phil, I'm going for you, man. Like, I need that mojo next fall on my, because my holdbacks from my double het ultra clown holdbacks are ready next year. Right. So I'm like, and I've got Enchi and Pinstripe Kodam in the mix. So like, I'm like, I think I've done this right. I just got to get this going. I want to make this work here. But yeah, I got two dreamsicle pairings this year. So hopefully you see some dreamsicles. And then I've got some hypo clown stuff and hypopide stuff. So we'll see. And then next year, like I said, the double ultra clowns, axanthic clown pairings start next year. And I even have a triple lab axanthic pied. I lose track of all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes at some point you're just like words, snake, words. Jeez. But yeah, lab axanthic pieds start pairing together next year as well, or later this calendar year, next season.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it. But my point being, I've kind of built like the long steady line rather than sort of the hockey stick of like not much, and then poof, just shoot straight up, which I think is what I hope is what you guys see. Like, you have the opportunities to do that, so I think that'll be cool. And it's two different models that I think can work just fine. I think both of them can work fine.
Yep, exactly. And meanwhile, while all of our snakes have been growing and building, I wanted to develop that social media aspect and, put a face to our brand and show us, we're not just going to come out with a hypo clown pied one day and just be, first time breeders or whatever. I really wanted to, showcase us, build the brand, all that stuff, it's important.
I want to dive into that. And it's a good time to take just a quick break. I got to pay some bills really fast and thank our sponsors because they keep me on the air here. But yeah, the social media segment is very important. And if y'all haven't seen Taylor and Danny's social media, you should go check out ChakraScales on Instagram, but also Chakra Chickens on Instagram. And what's the TikTok account for the chickens?
Yeah, Chakra Chickens as well.
Chakra Chickens as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's no surprise that all of a sudden you make a splash in one area. It's because you did the work in the other area, and that's what I want to talk about that in a minute. I got to thank Redline Shipping, guys. Go check them out if you're not shipping with Redline. I really think it's the best experience in the industry, both from all the way from booking. God forbid there's a problem on the way. I've gone through that with them, and that ice storm in Memphis earlier this season, they were good. They were right on the spot for me. And then afterwards with the follow-up, it was an animal coming my way, and they actually, before they even called me back, they had already refunded the shipper's money and taken care of the shipper's insurance, all that. They offer insurance right through Redline Shipping. So anyway, go check out Redline Shipping. Use the promo code PROPER5 if you haven't used that before, and you get $5 off your next shipping label. You probably heard earlier, I prefer to feed frozen thawed when I'm not buying ASFs from Tito at Tradesman's Exotics, but Cold-Blooded Cafe, I think that they're the best out there. It's really weird to say, but a food and beverage background, I can smell fresh versus not fresh when I open bags of rats. And Cold-Blooded Cafe I've always been consistently pleased with, and their manufacturing facility. They breed all their own rodents as well. The other biggest competitor to them is a lab rat purchaser. They buy the lab rats at different stages of their life and euthanize them and then ship them out. Cold-Blooded Cafe is producing them. They know everything that's gone into every rodent. So check them out. Proper 10 is going to get you $10, not $10, 10% off your next frozen thawed rodent order. And those get expensive real fast. So 10% adds up. Last but not least on the sponsor list tonight is Chris at B&S Reptilia. He is the distributor for the Chipper in Pennsylvania, and he also sells a wide variety and breeds a wide variety of snakes, pythons, boas, blood pythons, colubrids of all kinds. Man, I get lost in everything he has because I'm a ball python guy. But go check out Chris, and he's a real good dude. I've been doing business with Chris for over a year now, and I'm real proud to be aligned with him, and I highly personally recommend him. It's not just a business deal on these promos. So all of those are down below in the description, as well as links to ChakraScales. That is Danny and Taylor joining us. And we are, what are we going to call this? Simulcasting, duo streaming? What do we call it?
Dual casting.
Dual casting.
Dual streaming.
I don't know, man. I'm just the old dude going bald in the room. But we are on two channels tonight. We're on the Uncooped podcast, which is Danny and Taylor's chicken podcast, soon to be. Are we your first broadcast on that channel?
I'm experiencing the guest side before I even do my first guest. So it's cool.
Perfect. I love it. So welcome all this sounds weird to say, the chicken people. We're the python people. It's cool. I'm glad to have you, and I hope that you're enjoying the show. I see that some of y'all are still watching, so I mean, this is going all right. I think this is cool.
Blending both worlds.
Yeah, and I'd love to have you hang out if you like my content. This is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. and I have traditional videos. And anyway, all my links are down below. And if you're just joining from the ball python world, this is Taylor and Danny. This is ChakraScales up in Minnesota, and so we're going to talk about their social media. Recap that part that you did, because I went to the break there and I needed to get that in, but I think what you said was so important. So start with somewhere around, we weren't just going to pop out double visuals.
Right. So back in the pandemic, I started my chicken page. I really seen a grow when I was consistent every day. I was posting every day, kind of creating that, I'm a person, this is not just some funny trends or whatever.
Right.
And I kind of developed that. I got 40,000 followers off TikTok now on my chicken page. So I'm kind of like, I developed, what audience likes to see, what works and what doesn't work. So I kind of use that with the snake world. Posting every day is really fun. I love it. It is harder trying to relate the content to the snakes. Just because they're harder to work with than chickens, I would say.
Really?
Video wise,
yeah.
they don't want to cooperate with your videos.
Wow. I would wrangle a ball python before. I mean, I'm sure once you get the skill, you could scoop up a chicken.
Yeah.
I don't want to go after a chicken right now, man.
No, those
to the face.
Those are easy for me.
No.
I'm a chicken wrangler. But I kind of used that, and I developed kind of our page, ChakraScales, aligned with the Chakra chickens, and as our brand is Chakra, I guess we would kind of say, and just use that to grow our business, posting daily, talking people, connecting, asking questions. I feel is very important.
Do you see? Well, so first let's talk about that TikTok number, 40,000. That turned some heads. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was that largely off of like one amazing viral thing, or was that a steady build?
No, I had a couple that went, a couple million, but it didn't get me crazy numbers. It's been slowly over the months, 2,000, 3,000 a month or whatever. I've just been growing it slowly but surely.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to highlight those, because we all hear of the person that gets, 6 million views and they get suddenly overnight at 20,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody that's happened to. Like, I hear of it, but the reality is most of us have to do that work. We have to get up and put in the time and show up, and it's hard to do. And I'll speak from experience. Even right now, my YouTube production has dropped way off. Now, my business model this year is that I'm working as much as I can consulting with restaurants in the first half, because I know once 17 or 20 clutches of babies come, I'm not going to be able to. Yeah. At which point the YouTube will ramp back up, but it's fallen off even more than I've wanted to. And I mean, sometimes life happens. I mean, I got to pay the bills, and that's what got in the way of it. But you said producing. You said consistently, I think, but producing every day is where you're seeing the results.
I do think that at least one post a day, couple 2 to 3 stories a day, I think is very beneficial. It creates that connection with the audience and the community, and it shows, this is not just for just to highlight one beautiful snake. This is the daily grind. It's not all butterflies and rainbows.
No, it's a work. Yeah, you got to do it. And I agree. And I haven't. So here's where I'm torn, not on what you're saying, on your experience. I, to this day, don't know if the algorithm is truly finding more people that like it, or if it just values production, or the third is a combination. And I actually, this is probably what I believe. I do believe that the more we do, the more we're going to learn. And we might not even know what we're learning every step, but some little trick worked, some little word on a screen worked, some way that you said that you were able to post a chicken in front of the camera, but not the snake. That worked. Yep. And I think that's why I like, the more and more I think about business in general, as long as somebody's or an animal's health isn't in danger, I think people should jump in and just start. Now, you got to have a safety net, or you got to have a whole bunch of money set aside, because that means you're going to stumble and fumble around a whole lot. But you're going to learn way more jumping in and doing than you ever are. You can learn a lot reading. Don't get me wrong. You can learn a lot watching YouTube videos, but you got to go do it. And I think that's what, when you said that everyday thing, that's what clicked with me, because that's where I started to see the results on Instagram. Yeah. The flip side of that, all that learning stuff, I forget his name, Alex somebody. He's the gym guy that turned like his gym models into like a super $1 million influencer guy. He says like his speeches are, well, if you want to level up 10x, make 10 times the videos a day. And at first you hear that and you're like, that's pretty patronizing. But let me tell you, the days that I crank out 4 videos, I get 100 new followers on Instagram, kind of thing, which is a big number for me. And somebody, Bold Coast Exotics, just said, I'm not sure exactly what that was 100% in context of. You said, would you say that's due to your lives, Adam? How's that affected your subscribers? My subscribers have not gone down, and they were actually had jumped way up because, to my point just a moment ago, for about a month, I put like 3 YouTube shorts out because this past month they've just monetized it. They made this big hoopla of it, and I was like, well, they're really going to reward me right now. And I got more subscribers in 1 month than in about the previous 4-month period on YouTube from my traditional videos. So they almost conditioned me to be like, am I going to go edit right now? Nah, I'll just pop up a new short on YouTube and I know I'll do my live. So I want to get back to building my library of traditional videos. And I've actually got 3 filmed right now that I just haven't put out. But to that guy Alex's point, when I 3x'd my output, boom, there were the results. And that seems to happen too. And so I don't know is what I'm saying. I can't say. I know it drives Brandon, and I talk about this a lot. Brandon Nixon. I know it drives him nuts because this guy, he puts out like Hollywood grade editing.
Oh, his quality is insane.
Brandon, whatever that trick was that you did, that the snake changed when you put the glasses on,
that was the best.
I don't even know how he did it. Like that's like that Penn and Teller show Fool Us.
Real
Like,
of the year.
Yeah, like most of it, like I'm like impressed that people put the work in. Mm-hmm. That one I was impressed because I have no idea how it was done. That was like magic, man.
Yeah.
But I know Brandon laments that, other people, maybe me, you just stand there, wave a snake around and you get followers. Yeah, I do. I like to think I put more into it than that. And some I do, but I really don't on a lot of it. So I don't know. So did you see a difference in the audience appreciation or what the audience appreciates on TikTok versus Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, it's harder to grow on Instagram, like crazy numbers like that. I've seen, just because I feel like sometimes I don't push it out as much. I don't know. All the algorithms are a little bit different, I feel.
Yeah.
I take each video and I try to purpose it on every single site. I, try to post it on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok.
The same content in the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I do try to edit in TikTok, in Instagram. I've heard that is beneficial to get views, but I don't know exactly. I don't know. It's just
I was kind of experimenting with that on. Sorry, my alarm's going off telling me I'm in my snake room. 1 second. That one won't quit if I don't turn it off. Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that because I can download my reels from Instagram, and then just fire them up on YouTube. And I was like, man, YouTube's going to see through that. They're not going to respect that. It did fine. And then there's other ones where I'm like editing in YouTube and it does nothing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done overthinking it. If I'm inspired, I'm going to do it. And if I'm not, I'll figure something out.
Besides with the consistency, I feel like I don't look at the numbers. I don't get discouraged when I get low numbers on views. I'm like, okay, well, what did I do wrong? I guess, what can I benefit, the next video that maybe we'll get more views. I don't look at it like, oh, discouraged, I'm never going to post again. It's just keep going, keep grinding. That
could be somewhere where, so for context, I'm 43. That could be somewhere my age has helped me. I don't know if I believe it completely, but I heard an argument that the people born between like 1978 and 1981, they're not, clearly we're not boomers, but we're not really even Gen X, but we're not really millennials. Like I didn't grow up with clicks. I didn't grow up with social media, but it was part of my development. Whereas probably the people that were in Gen X proper were like, I just got to put up with it or deal with it or assimilate it versus it being like, it was a part of my culture. So, so to your point though, I'm not really that beholden to clicks and views. Like I look at the metrics because, you can leverage those things if you want sponsorships, and I want to sell snakes, so I can leverage that to sell snakes and the reach. But as far as, oh man, I'm gonna have a bad day because that one missed. Nah, I get way more down if I go do a show and I have a rough day at the show. Those are hard for me to get over. So I don't say maybe there's a generational thing there. I'm not saying me to you, but me to a lot of content creators.
Yep.
It doesn't bother me that much. I just keep going. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm looking at some of the comments here. So what's your plan? Do you have any plan for ChakraScales on YouTube yet?
Just kind of posting the shorts. I don't know yet exactly. I would love to do some kind of videos and stuff, but it's harder.
Yeah.
With the snake, it's hard to do a podcast because there's so many podcasters out there in the snake world. Unfortunately, there's so many great so many great content out there that I don't want to compete with anyone. So, but as for information, I would love to do some kind of fun videos and stuff like that with YouTube. YouTube is very beneficial for growing monetization as well. So,
I would say one of my favorite sayings is YouTube will find your tribe, man.
Right.
They will. I mean, look, there's almost 50 people sitting here watching us chat, and and I value it and I appreciate it, but I don't know. I truly couldn't quantify. I know what my show structure is, but I can't quantify what people like. I don't know. The only thing I can sort of say on that is YouTube connected me with the people that are going to enjoy me. And you got to realize if Brian Barczyk has 4 million subscribers on YouTube. I don't know what Snake Discovery's up to. They're through the roof.
Yeah.
If you only need 45 or 50 to get your hours up and connect with a great community and build Patreon subscribers, you can find that, I mean, it's there. So I'll be interested to hear what happens on the chicken page though, because I can't remember if we were live or off when you said there's really no other, there's not the equivalent of the ball python podcasts in the chicken community though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no podcast like this in the chicken world. So I'm I wanted to use kind of the skills I've learned from this community and branch it out to that community as well. They always say the average millionaire has 6 sources of income, right? So I'm trying to get that 6 sources. I'm trying to get everything.
Yeah.
Use my skills for what it's worth.
Well, and I do think you have a knack for it. By the way, I mean, that was kind of the hook of me wanting to meet you all was you produce a lot. You're good at it. Your charisma and engagement on those reels is I was man, I might not be able to get a word in edgewise on this guy. No, you've got the 2 worlds figured out. This is good here. Stephen at Leviathan Snakes puts it really well. We view our breeding business as the main focus, and our socials are tools to help market it. That's that old mission, vision, or start with the why, or whatever all those corporate things are. Anytime I get bogged down, I go, okay, why am I doing this, and what's my number one priority? My number one priority is to sell snakes and bring happiness through that. Okay, great. In that light, if I don't produce a regular YouTube video tomorrow, it's probably no big deal. If I let my business disappear and become obsolete over 6 months, that's a problem. But if I could be doing something, whether it's an email list, whether it's connecting with the Patreon stuff, if it's booking new guests, all of those things, as long as I'm doing something to forward my business, then I'm working. I don't get so caught up in, did I post this on time? Is so-and-so gonna, is this algorithm gonna get mad at me? I will say I was terrified of it for a while. I was like, man, it's all going to go in the dumpster. And it's all going to be terrible. But I haven't felt that pressure in a long time, nor seen that result, to be honest with you.
Exactly. yeah, I mean, just the more you post, the more you're going to benefit. Honestly, it's just, I feel like just post, get out there, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. This is your business, and it's also who you are. So bring those qualities in, show yourself off. It's a lot easier to connect with someone showing themselves off than just snake videos or I don't know, not connecting. I would say.
Yeah, and I on the heels of that, the more authentic somebody is, the more they're going to connect. And like, again, the sheer volume of people is wonderful because there's an appetite for every flavor out there, man. Like, I know coming up, I was never the guy. I was never the popular kid and all that, man. YouTube and Instagram and social media, throw all that out the window because you're going to find your people right away. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're going to connect. That's their job. That's how they succeed.
Yep.
Is connecting all of us freaks together. You know what I mean? It's wonderful.
Yeah, you've really shown your genuine good quality with all your YouTube, all your lives and stuff like that. You really connect through these lives. I really enjoy them.
Well, thank you. And thanks. I've enjoyed them more and in ways that I didn't really realize that I would, because when I first set out, I wanted to understand the business of YouTube, and really because I thought it would apply to my professional restaurant career. And it would give me an excuse to have these ball pythons. And I think at the time I had like 12, I think at the time, like I was like, I'm starting my podcast. I got 12. I'm in, man. I'm ready. And it was great because, with no safety net, just run forward. So I've accomplished those. I've learned a whole lot about how social media works, how it can be leveraged, ways to be successful on it. But now I actually look forward to the show more of just hanging out with people that I want to hang out with, and the connections and the community of the chat, man. I know probably 80, maybe more % of the people here. And so it's really cool, even if I'm not like actively chatting with them, just to see what's going on and see the different angles and pick up on the aha moments, whether I even like it or not. Steven says right now they're working on increasing the brand's prestige within the industry. And for me, when I hear the word prestige, I'm like, oh, these snobs. And then, but I'm like, wait a minute, that makes sense. If you're trying to sell $3,000-$4,000 snakes, there's an image and a brand that's got to be put out there. And not only that, they deliver the product. So that does make sense. So like all those little things get me thinking. So, and for the record, I'm not calling Stephen and Courtney snobs. Those two, their snake was my very first post on Instagram. That is Proper Royals trivia that can, win you a beer at a bar one night or something,
Yeah, no, they've been really helpful as well. I've probably asked them a bunch of questions.
So
good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they've been very, very good people to me. So and honestly, that's why I knew I could say something. I didn't have to beat around the bush to make that point, because they know who I am. I know who they are. And we have different brands. And matter of fact, you've probably seen them. We've made videos differing, like debating, disagreeing on why that ain't going to work for me and this isn't going to work for me. And they'll probably win because he's a professional and they have sunsets and I don't. But I'm going to fight along the way. I'll get there. Somehow I'm always there at that finish line.
Exactly.
So what's the future for you? You got these babies on the way. How much intention do you have for holdback, or how much space do you have for holdback? Or is it, hey, finally start taking a little bit back in, or what's the plan for you?
Yeah, I think we're kind of raising them with the expectation that if any don't sell, they will be staying with us till they can find
sure,
home.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've got a quite large house that we don't fill, the two of us. So
space
there you go.
Yeah.
Thankfully. But we'll eventually have to buy some more racks.
Yeah.
We need some hatchling racks coming up here in the summer and fall. So
Yep. Expand.
And will you build those? You'll buy those? What's your preference on that?
I mean, I would love to get that new ARS one that they debuted at Arlington, and they had it at Tinley too.
Yeah.
That one is insane. The little, what is it, the 5 or 7? I can't remember.
I forget the name of it, and I have funny little quirks. Like well, maybe I have a lot of big quirks. I'm not sure. Depends who you ask. My breeders and my breeding stock, I really like in the nice ARS ones, you know. But my hatchlings, I'm like,
right? They can do it.
Yeah, just need space. Like, just go there. And that's all I want, you know. And I can't rationalize it. I don't know. I don't know why I say that.
I know. I would love to get either that would be like top end, but either like sea serpents, some animal plastics, with the Freedom Beater 5s or the Vision tubs, something like that would be really cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're gonna have to need those quick then, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna come quick. Yeah, we're shooting for, I'm hoping, 6, 8, somewhere around there clutch this year, maybe 10 on the high end, but hopefully some good quality ones. I'd be happy with like 3 good quality ones.
Yeah, I want to see, man. We got to get back together like in the fall.
Yeah,
because. Well, first I want to see how you did. Like the dice you all are rolling are phenomenal. Like I am not a guy to be like, oh, geez, God, I hope that sucks because that's gonna ruin me. And that's not me.
No.
I don't believe in that crap anyway. But secondly, I'm interested to hear your experience when it comes to taking care of all of these hatchlings. Like, I could tell you just going from 2 clutches to 6 clutches last year. Now, I was much busier last year, and I didn't quite have everything set up. But then this year, so I paired 21, but 4 kind of aren't. 3 of them I took out because I didn't really have anything to pair with them. So I can't say I paired 21. I had 21 that could have been paired. I didn't pair 3 of them. And then one of them, I think, is just too soon. I don't think she's going to go. So 17, let's say I hit 12 to 15 out of that. That's somewhere between double and triple what I just did last year. And last year kicked my butt. So if you're going right into 6, 8, or 10, I want to hear what you hit and like how crazy you go with them.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a change. But we're used to having, babies in spring, all the different baby goats, baby chickens. So we're used to the care of them. We can handle all that.
Yeah.
And we have the space, which is a good thing. So, we're set up for success. Now we got to let the animals, do their work.
Yeah. And that's a good point. You do have the tangible experience or the relatable experience between animals. I say to a lot of people that I wouldn't jump in head first on a lot of things, but for example, the Flawless Exotic Creations, they built an empire on crested geckos.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they're incredible, right? And I mean, I think they're close to $250,000 in snake inventory they've bought now, and I'm not telling secret like they say these things, so I'm not just spilling the beans. But I told them, like most people, I would say you're absolutely nuts if you spend $250,000 on snakes and you've never hatched one.
Right.
But I wouldn't say it to them because they've gone through building a reptile empire. It's not the very same thing, but yeah, you're right. If you've handled the springtime babies that seasonally come basically in one big clump, whether that's a 90-day clump or whatever it might be, but in a clump that ramps up the work, then yeah, go for it. I think go for it anyway, but I think you're going to do fine on it. But for me, it was a new, that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to work my butt off the first 6 months, and then I'll take on whatever projects I want to the back 6 months, because I should have good stuff this year. Good. It's always good, and it's always better than every year. Ideally should be good compared to the last year, but I'm really excited about what I have coming this year, and I want it to have my attention, and I want to be able to put the proper focus on it,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then we also have a little side project that we're working on with Dreamsicles as well too.
Oh, you are? Cool.
Yeah. So she loved the Dreamsicles. I mean, visually you can't go wrong.
I don't think you can. Yeah.
So we want to introduce some orange dream into it. We love that, the dream within a dream.
Yes.
Yeah. The inception. Yeah.
So we got our boy. He's the orange dream leopard pied lavender albino.
Yes.
And then we got a lavender albino het pied. We got an orange dream double het. We got a double het females. So we're hoping that, I don't know. We might not get one of those to pair this year. Maybe one of the lavender girl. She's like around 1,000 grams. So
okay,
but that will be a fun little project, and then eventually kind of work it into the clown pied, and then do the holy grail.
Right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, what codoms do you want to see go into yours? I know you said Orange Dream, and what else did you have in the mix already?
I mean, it's mostly Orange Dream, and then. Yeah, we would love to do like super orange dream would be really cool.
Right. Yeah.
And then eventually work it into the clown pie
right.
stuff. I recently saw, what was it, like a confusion or an acid one that was really cool. I love the pattern on that. Lavender albino.
There's a guy, Biological Canvas is what he goes by. And he actually asked if I would help him ultrasound his females. He lives about an hour south of me, and I did, and it's amazing. I mean, my house is a little house in suburbia, same as his little house in suburbia. I really hadn't heard of him, and he has a rack full. They're all dreams. It's a full dreamsicle rack project, and I was just like, mind blown. Perfect. First, that it was just that quality of animals right there, and this place is immaculate. Just smells beautiful. Right in his home, guest room, all that, and like the quality of animals sitting there. And second, the focus and determination. How do you block out all the other cool stuff? Like I can't, man. I can't block it all out.
It's really it's hard. You have to stick to that project that you have in mind. And I think in the long run, when you do stick to that project, you can produce high quality animals, and you're not just producing, this little bit of this, little bit of that,
Yeah. I'm a little bit of this and that guy. That's me.
I mean, it works. It works.
Well, and it's the old time, space, and resources.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If my primary income can become music and snakes, I've got the space. I'll have the time. Okay. Time and space is cool. If I've got to be 50 hours a week away and I don't have those 50 hours, I might need to slim it down and focus a little bit, so, and time will tell on that also. There'll be something that I start working where I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not letting go of these. Okay. If I'm not letting go of these, then what am I going to let go of? Because I don't. Right, exactly. So that time will come, or it won't. I don't know, but I think it will. But he had an acid dreamsicle in there.
Ooh, nice.
And I was like, it's in my hands. Oh, wow, this is it right here.
Wow.
So it's cool. I think I'm gonna try, and I haven't seen one before. I've got a mahogany pied. And while this year's whatever I get, whether they're double hets or visuals or a visual and a het, as those are growing up, I think I'm going to breed my mahogany pied to my lavender het pied female.
Yeah.
And if I can get a male from there, when those other females that I hold back this year are ready, that male will be ready. So we always hear about these different snowball effects. It's the same thing with these breeding projects. You hold it back, you're like, oh wow, wait a minute, that's that close. Like I can get there, So that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I've got kind of the classic like yellow belly, pastel, orange dream. I can work into it if I want to. And I think orange dream is a no-brainer to work into it. But then I was looking at the browns and the burnt orange, and I was like, that could be from the mahogany. I was like, that could be cool. And I don't know if it's been done with the lavender. So I won't get there in it'll take me 4 years to get there, but I think I'm going to give that a shot,
Yeah. Like you said, every time you see the next little thing, you're like, okay, there's another 3 years. There's another 4 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's so hard for him. I mean, to your point about what that clip Chris Eaton said, most people don't realize how long just 2 years is to see something through for 4 or 5 years. But it's amazing. It was 3 years ago that I started on this. So, I mean, I'm already there and I really just feel like I know I'm just scraping. Not only feel like I know I'm just scraping the surface. And like, I've worked my butt off at it. And most of the people probably don't have time to put what I've been put into it. So exactly. It's a very, very long process, but it's been very, very fulfilling along the way for sure. Hang on. Somebody's got experience here. Elegant Anomaly says mahogany works really well in lab. I have a buddy that has an Enchi mahogany lab. That thing is fire. Yeah, actually, Enchi I want in my lavender, all my lavender projects. I want Enchi, and my candy I want Enchi in as well. And anything with pied, I love with Enchi because it's just I love just like the smeared pied look along the side of the animal, and Enchi does that really, really well too. I think.
Are you familiar with Dale Porcher? Where does he live? He lives in Florida, right?
Candy shop.
The candy shop.
No, I'm not.
He lives in Florida, but he deals with a lot of like Candy Gene.
Yeah.
He's the one that we got our super Enchi clown pied from too. So I was like, oh, maybe you knew him, but
no, I don't. I know a Dale, but it's not that Dale. I know Dale at Constricted Reptiles, but not him. The candy shop, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like the EPP or something like that. Candy shop with an EE or something.
Oh,
like
yeah. You make it French.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I've seen very few movies, but apparently Joe Dirt is one of them that I can remember the lines from. I think that was in like that horrible David Spade movie. Like, yeah, you put a P and an E on the end and you class it up a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Dale, don't tell Dale I said that.
Right.
Dale at the candy shop.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. No, I'll check that out. So I'm just excited. This is a big year. Like every year feels like you're right on the cusp because you always are. You're right on the cusp of the next best thing you're going to do,
Yeah. You should be excited about your year.
Yeah.
I am. Well, and like I don't put it up against anybody else. It's just I'm excited for what I've gotten to and how I've gotten here. So I'm fulfilled, You
kind of compare yourself like versus last year, what?
Yeah.
Did I upgrade last year? Did I do better? What can I improve?
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with that because you just get buried if you just try and compare yourself to other people. Endlessly.
It's impossible.
Yeah. It's impossible. It's completely unhealthy. And there's almost in life is like that. Like there's almost no good outcome from that.
I would say this industry has really helped me learn that, we grow with each other's success. I shouldn't be jealous of someone else doing better than me. That should only motivate me more. We all grow together. I would say like back in the day, I definitely was jealous of other people's success, but I feel like in the snake industry, it's taught me, if he hit that, that's awesome. And I'm stoked for him.
Right. Well, and the other, like, even if I wouldn't call it nefarious, but even the other way too is, well, if they put in all the work, I just need to sell X amount of snakes and I can be right there with them. Like you could jump the line with snakes really, really easily. Like it's not it's an interesting equalizer that way. Cause I mean, at the very, very top, people are going to hold that back and keep it to themselves. But other than that tiny, tiny little percentage, man, the barrier to get right to the top and then throw something like mahogany on top or throw something on top that hasn't been done, it's just right there. It's like, I can't remember if we were on air or off air when I said I don't really get caught up in world's firsts because I did the math. With all the genes out there, I think every person on the planet could have 3 world's firsts. Like it actually breaks Google if you do the 200 factorial and ask it for an answer. It's like it's infinity. You can't print them. Yeah, and so like anyway, it's funny to think about in that way. Now we're never going to make a 200 by 200 gene snake. That's not ever going to happen. But but mathematically, it's out there for everybody, So
yep.
anyhow, I don't get caught up in that stuff.
Exactly.
When will your show go live on the Uncooped channel?
Yeah, Friday will be my first episode. Friday at 5 p.m.
Very cool. And is it going to be a guest structure like this? Or are you doing a solo?
Yeah, I'm doing guest structure. I'll be interviewing, chatting with different chicken people too as well. So kind of fun.
All right. Do you have, and I think I'm putting you on the spot because in fairness, I think the answer is no. Do you have like a link tree or like a one-stop shop of links we could go to? Because you got a lot of ground to cover.
Right.
For us.
I would say mostly Instagram. Instagram, I'm on the most active and I have everything linked on there.
Okay. All right, cool. So ChakraScales will get
ChakraScales, Chakra
that'll
Chicken.
get you out. Okay.
Yep. We're on everything. So
all right. Well, listen, I really, really appreciate y'all being here. I've had a good time. It felt like a weight was lifted from me. Hey, my voice woke up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, life is good. And I'm serious. Actually, I would love to catch up in the fall and be like, hey, we talk about when you were going in and you were excited for this. Now, where did life hit you, or did you dominate life, or what happened? You know, I want to learn that stuff. That'll be cool.
Yeah, man. It's been. It was really awesome when you messaged me and you asked me to be on here. I was so stoked. I was like, you sure? We haven't hatched any snakes yet, but I really appreciate it, and it's been great to learn from you over all the episodes. We watch every Tuesday. Or if we catch the rewatch while we're cleaning snakes or whatever.
That's the beauty of this too, where I'm like, why does everybody get so worried about what slot they're on? Yeah. Do the search engine optimization and make it. You can just replays all of that.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. I listen to it all, so I love learning.
Yes.
Well, thank you very, very much. And like I say, you guys were a great relief for me. And again, it all went back to me just going, you know what? Who's somebody who's going to be excited to be here? Because I'm tired of all the drama I was dealing with. Yeah. And I was like, and I even apologized to you. I was like, I don't even know his name. But this Chakra dude, he's there every day. He's working every day. He's got a cool vibe about him. Man, I'm going to go find out what this dude's about. Plus, he's from Minnesota, which, like, there's some really good people there. And I'm like, man, this is who I'm going to ask. And then you're like, yeah, I want to, but should I? I'm like, shut up. Get on the show. Yes, that's what's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. It got me out of my comfort zone, and just so thankful for it.
Oh, well, you're welcome. And I wouldn't know, like I say, your charisma and camera presence, both of y'all, when you're doing your, like, I don't know if it's editing or there's just like a light that goes on for you all when you're doing it, but it translates really, really, really well on your content. And I truly, I think it shows. Like, look, our feelings can lie, but the numbers don't. Like, say we have 50 people hanging out. YouTube finds our people for us. It's okay, and authenticity is just the absolute best. So anyway, there you go. That's what I think.
No, it's been great. So I appreciate it. Shout out to Evan and Unlucky Morphs.
Well, grateful for everyone for hanging out, and for you again for the opportunity and all we've learned from you along the way. Excited to keep you posted on the journey.
I want to hear about it. I mean, you guys are going to be banging out fire. Like, I'm going to be like, 6 years I'll be doing that. Like, you're like, there you go. No, I think it's awesome. And now Unlucky Morphs has been awesome to me too. I see him a lot, and we actually chat a fair amount. So next week I have Summer from the shop. And she will be on, like I say, she runs, she's a breeder, a keeper, and she focuses, her kind of mission is education and outreach on behalf of the reptile community. So I'm really pumped to have this. She comes by reference of Robin Markland from Redline Shipping. So I'm really looking forward to meeting Summer from the shop. That's next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Danny, Taylor, we didn't even scratch the surface of beer and food, which I saw in your bio as well. We need to do that. We got to do that in person, whether y'all do it here in Daytona. I do it up there on, one summer. Yeah. I've been in the winter. I probably won't be back in the winter, but in the summertime, I'll come up. It's beautiful.
You got a
Definitely.
spot to stay always,
Yes.
man.
Oh, cheers. That'll be awesome. I'd love to. Well, thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Audience, thank you all very much.
Thanks so much.
Guys.
Appreciate it.
Y'all are welcome. Oh, and thanks to the viewers on the Uncooped channel. This is going to be really cool to see how that all went.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
We got to compare metrics here in a few minutes. Stick around. Don't sign off, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Here we go. All right, everybody. Good night. See y'all next time.
Thank you.